been watching politics and thought to yourself, man, these people are a bunch of idiots? Well, you have found the right show for you. Welcome to Buffoon of the Week, where we take a look back at last week's news and current events to nominate people who did or said something really, really dumb. And like any other political exercise, we explain why they should earn your vote. After we make our case, you then choose between them and decide who earned the dubious distinction of Buffoon of the Week. Our first... Yeah, guys, that's not him. There we go. Our first nominee is Democratic presidential candidate and presumptive nominee Joe Biden, who undoubtedly had one of the worst weeks ever in his political career. How bad, you ask? Well, let's start with his attempt at live streaming his plan to battle the coronavirus outbreak. It didn't really go to plan.
Now we need the armed forces and the National Guard to help with hospital capacity, supplies, and logistics. We need to activate the reserve corps of doctors and nurses and beef up the number of responders dealing with these crush of cases. And in addition to that, we have to make sure that we are in a position that we are. Well, let me go to the second thing. I've spoken enough of it.
Yeah, not exactly presidential material, was it? Then there were his appearances on friendly, liberal cable news outlets, where Biden showed just how ill-prepared he personally is to deal with the coronavirus.
I have not talked to any individual. Excuse me.
You know, you're supposed to cough into your elbow. I don't know, sir. I learned that actually covering your White House.
Actually, that's true, but fortunately I'm alone in my home, but that's okay.
All right.
I agree. You're right.
You should it's kind of old school to do it with your hand. Do it into your elbow. You're supposed to do it.
Thank you. Let me have to take care of the cure. That will make the problem worse no matter what.
A candidate in the time of social distancing.
Well, I'm doing fine, thank you. And I think we've been
public. But first off, in this crisis,
I'd like
spoke earlier. He's talking.
And I tell you what, I'm so darn proud. And those poor people who have lost, anyway, it's just, my heart goes out to them.
No. Listen, we have to make a choice about who leads this country.
I just can't figure the guy. It's like watching a yo-yo. I shouldn't have said it that way. It's like watching.
It feels that way. I want to ask you. It's okay. About the reporting in the New York Floyd to Home Alone with children.
Why doesn't he just act like a president? That's a stupid way to say it.
Donald Trump was asked on.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No. Geez, someone get that man a lozenge or something. But then again, that's old school leadership at its finest. Classic, do as I say, not as I do politics. And to add a cherry on top of this crappy Sunday for Biden, news broke this week that Uncle Joe has been accused by a former staffer of unwanted sexual advances and sexual assault. Yep, worst week ever. If you like what you're seeing so far, hit that thumbs up button. Also leave us a comment. We'll read every single one of them. And don't forget to subscribe to never miss another video. Our second nominee is perennial D-list celebrity Michael Rapaport, the former star of something, took to Twitter to bash President Trump's handling of the coronavirus outbreak. Rapaport took exception to Boston Public. That's what he was on. He was on Boston Public like 20 years ago. Anyways, Rapaport took exception to the president's aspirational timetable to get life and business back to normal. And when I say took exception, we mean with extreme prejudice. He even cursed out Trump's children, including his young son Barron. Count along with us as we watch the profanity fly.
Fucking pig, the real people want to get back to work ASAP. You never worked a fucking day in your life. You're worried about the next 4 years. You need to be worried about the next 4 days. You need to be worried about the next 4 weeks, the next 4 months. You are the worst possible we could have in power making decisions right now. The real people want to get back to work. Why don't you send your fucking son, stain Donald Trump Jr., Big Tooth Eric Trump, Little Baron, Ivanka, Junkyard Jared. Let them go out there and test the waters. Let them see if shit is sweet. Let them take the cars, the trains, the buses, the Amtraks. Let them play in the park, and everything's good. If everything's good after 5 days of them playing out there in the streets, we'll all go back there. You want to make the American people guinea pigs so you could get reelected? You fucking clown. And people, if you fall for this shit, shame on you. If you still fall for this shit, shame on you. This guy doesn't give a about anybody but himself. He's talking about the next 4 years. We're trying to figure out what to do with the next 4 hours. You con man, you 2-bit good for nothing pimp.
Yikes, break out the soap. Of course, Rapaport's comments had immediate impact upon his dozens and dozens of fans. Others outside of his sphere of influence responded with, "Who said that?" Proving once again that just because you think you're a celebrity and that your opinion should matter more than others doesn't mean everyone else thinks so too. Okay, before we go any further, we have to give a big shout out to our friends at Less Government More Fun for supporting our ideas for this show. In case you don't know, Less Government More Fun is all about motivating people to take positive action through encouragement and volunteering and less government reliance. Check them out on Twitter at LessGovMoreFun, and pick up a t-shirt or maybe some swag by clicking the link in the description below to check out their store. Because this is our blockbuster debut week, we're doing 3 nominees, because we couldn't not include Republican Kentucky Congressman Thomas Massie. A devout libertarian, Massie riled his colleagues in government on both sides of the aisle when he objected to Congress using its emergency action powers to quickly pass the stimulus package in response to the coronavirus outbreak with a voice vote. That meant he single-handedly was responsible for compelling congressmen and women who were social distancing in their homes to leave their relative safety and travel back to DC, gather in a confined space, and risk coronavirus exposure, all to cast a vote on a bill virtually everyone agreed on. That didn't sit well with the president either, who called Massie a third-rate grandstander and demanded on Twitter that the Republican Party expel Massie from its ranks. But I guess Massie did accomplish one thing. He brought the nation together in their collective disdain for what he did. Choosing between buffoons isn't all fun and games around here, so to help you decide your choice for Buffoon of the Week, we worked with top buffoonologists to help create our trademarked Sharpton Scale of Buffoonery. It measures 2 things. First, we measure exactly how big of a buffoon each person is. Everyone has a spot on that scale based upon how big of an idiot they are given their past history of actions and statements in comparison to the only known perfect 100 in existence, the Reverend Al Sharpton, of course. Then, each action is measured in buffoonish magnitude using our custom unit of measure, the Sharpton, on a scale with no upper limit. So you ready to get wonky with us? Let's see how these buffoons measure up against each other. Joe Biden has been known to be a bit of a buffoon throughout his career, but he was more regarded as one of those lovable, bless your heart, crazy uncle types. Remember those memes back in the day at the end of the Obama administration? That kind of guy, good for a laugh, but relatively harmless in nature. But lately, he's become more of a, yikes, this is getting hard to watch kind of buffoon. Not exactly the kind of person you want around you, let alone someone who wants to be leader of the free world. So both his personal score and his recent actions in the face of a pandemic rate relatively high. Michael Rapaport seems like one of those Hollywood types on the fringes of fame. He's not someone that comes to mind when you think of Hollywood or TV or film. Which is the same description you can use even when you think about him in the context of being a Trump hater. Others in Hollywood come to mind before you even get to him. So this video of his screams out for attention. But his inclusion of Baron Trump, a minor, in his verbal tirade takes this video out of the realm of garden variety ramp into total creepsville. Never go after kids in politics. It only makes you look like a bully and a big buffoon. Was it all worth it? That's the question we'd love to ask Thomas Massie. Was the drubbing you took in the press from all sides worth the hours in delay that your principal stand resulted in? Doesn't seem like there was a lot accomplished by it. Was it worth it to expose your colleagues to danger and making them come back to Washington? Was it worth it to give the perception that you don't care about multitudes of Americans suffering under this coronavirus pandemic? Now we know that Massie is known for taking principled stands on legislation big and small, but in this case, he may have gone too far. So we've done our job, now it's your turn. Which of these three buffoons takes it home? Cast your vote in our poll and leave us a comment to tell us who you got for Buffoon of the Week. Wow, you made it all the way to the end of the video. Yay you! While you're here, give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you can always come back for more fun. Hope to see you here next week.